Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 books that really helped me with my lupus diagnosis, with my mindset, and with building resilience in a time that I really needed it. If you would take a minute, just like, subscribe, and turn on the alerts if you want to see more of my videos, and let's get started. The first book I want to talk about is A Guide to the Good Life by William B. Irvine. By the way, all of these titles I'm going to put in the description so you can watch this and you don't have to worry about writing it down or anything because you can go and check it out after. A Guide to the Good Life is a book on Stoicism. Now, it is argued that Stoicism was the foundation and kind of the birthplace of cognitive behavioral therapy, which has helped millions upon millions of people and is actually becoming so popular that it's pretty steeped in our culture now, which is fantastic, and it just goes to show that like emotional health is becoming more well-known and more appreciated over America, which is awesome. That's the goal. If you're not familiar with Stoicism, let me give you a little bit of a background on it. It was a Roman philosophy. It was followed by such people as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. There's more. I should know them. I don't. So just a few Stoic quotes that you may or may not recognize. All 3 of these are from Seneca, who is my favorite Stoic. People who study Stoicism usually have one person who they really relate to and they really appreciate their quotes. The first one is, "It is rather the quality rather than the quantity that matters." We have common phrases like that today, but he was kind of the first one that was like, yo, maybe more isn't always better. The next one is, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." I love that. That really helped me during my darkest times where I was just like, no, I'm doing the work. Like, this is the work and I'm doing the work. "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Whew. Let me just read that again. "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." So I have tiny veins, and when I was sick and bedridden, I was often dehydrated, it was a whole thing. But anytime I had my blood drawn, it was probably a 75% chance that they would have to stick me multiple times, or they would have to go digging with the needle to find a vein. And I would have that phrase playing over and over in my head. We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality, because it was like dreading the needle going in was way worse than actually feeling the pain of it. So I would just, say that phrase over and over to myself, and it really helped me with that. Another component of Stoicism that really helped me during that time, I might just do an entire video on Stoicism, I don't know, because it was really helpful during my pregnancy, during being bedridden, and even after. But another part of it that really helped me was imagining the worst and realizing that you're not there. And you have no evidence to support that that will ever happen, so enjoy where you are. Like, literally enjoy where you are. I am going to live this moment how I want to live it every day of my life, whether that be 5 days from now, or 5 years from now, or 50 years from now. So that was definitely a very good book. I would highly recommend checking it out. The next book is actually one that I went back and read again this week. It's a pretty short book. It is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This is another book that is adjacent to cognitive behavioral therapy, and it is very, very good. I would highly recommend going and reading it for everybody. It is a little weird, I'll let you know. The meat of it is absolutely amazing. And if you actually just write down the 4 agreements and put them someplace where you can see them all the time or something as a refresher, it is very helpful. So the first of the agreements, be impeccable with your word. This means not gossiping, not speaking about yourself in a negative way, not speaking about the future in a negative way, just being really conscientious of the energy you put out into the universe with your spoken word. The next one is one that I love and definitely live by. It is, don't take anything personally. This is so important when it comes to illness, because it is it's happening to you. It is a very personal thing. But if you just view it as like a statistic or like this is something that is happening for me, you know, so that I can learn all these lessons, stuff like that. It is so much better than being like, God did this to me. This is happening to me. This is so personal, and just really getting your feelings hurt by it. It's the same way when somebody else is mean to you, or, you know, a little bit snippy or something. I always think, oh, they must be really busy, or, oh, you know, they probably have something else going on, or something like that. And I really don't take it personally. Like, it's pretty hard to hurt my feelings. Instead of being like, they must not like me, they're being mean to me because X, Y, and Z. Like, that is taking it personally, and it's just putting a lot of negative energy into a situation that really doesn't need to be there. The next one is don't make assumptions. Very, very, very important. Ask questions. If you feel like a conversation is going in a direction that like you understand where the person is coming from and you think you understand all this stuff, ask questions, because 9 times out of 10, the person is not saying what you are about to get hurt over, and they're saying something completely different. So asking questions is so important. Don't make assumptions. The last one is always do your best. I love that, because it is sometimes your best is laying on the couch and watching Friends all day. That is the best you can do. That is the best you can accept of yourself, and that is totally fine. So I really love that book. It really helped me. The next book was actually recommended to me during my divorce, and another amazing, life-changing book. It's Loving What Is by Byron Katie. This book turns reality on its head. It is absolutely amazing. And what it is a series of interview questions for absolutely anything that is bothering you. So it really is like a pen and paper workbook type book. I mean, it doesn't have a workbook as part of it. It might actually, I don't know. But you do need to like journal as you do this book and stuff like that. This book actually really brings home the 4 agreements, where it's like, don't make assumptions and don't take anything personally. And it's actually seeing in reality what is happening and not what you think is happening in your head. So an example of it, you just have to read the book, because I know I'm not doing it justice. But a quick example of it, kids should clean up their toys. Is that true? Kids should clean up their toys. Society says it's true, but do kids clean up their toys? No, not naturally. They don't. They just leave them wherever, willy-nilly. The book is talking about, does toys being cleaned up bother the child? Not really. They're okay if their room is a mess. Does it bother you? Yes. So whose job is it to clean up the toys? Who is it bothering? It's bothering you. And that helped me so much, because my kid is like excellent at picking up toys, and not because I make him pick anything up. Just before we transition to something else, I start cleaning up and he starts helping me, because he's watching me do it. He's watching me model it. And so that book is absolutely amazing when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances, just anything like that. Really looking at what is and diving deep into the shoulds that you have in your mind that are probably not necessarily and definitely not serving you right now. The next book is a little woo-woo, and if you know me at all, you know I am a little woo-woo, so I'm going to recommend it anyway. It's Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz, and this is a book that is playing with the idea of your soul incarnating in this moment in time and choosing this life path, this destiny, to be able to learn all the lessons that it came to Earth to learn. So even if you don't believe in this type of thing, I would highly recommend reading it, because it really opens up your mind to all of these things are happening for me and not to me. And so there was this one example in the book where this gentleman paralyzed from the neck down, and he talked to these guides, and I don't know if they were called psychics, but like basically people that can talk to his spirit guides and talk to them about why he chose this life path. And it was so good, because the gentleman was talking about how this choice for him to be paralyzed was something he chose for himself before he was even born. He also chose who it was going to affect and what lessons it was going to teach them. And so I love thinking about this when I think of being bedridden or my divorce or my son or like all these other things, being like, I chose this. I chose this for myself in this moment so that I could learn all these lessons, and so that the joy and sorrow and all of those very human, very real emotions could ripple out into the world and allow other people to learn lessons that they never would have learned if I had not had this painful or wonderful experience. The last one is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. Tara Brach. 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 Tara. I'm gonna write it down. This book is actually a Buddhist philosophy about accepting yourself at your very core, at your very base level. This book was so instrumental in part of my healing journey, where I had to accept parts of myself that I didn't like, parts of myself that I was pulling away from, and it was actually disintegrating me. You think of an integration as being together, and then a disintegration as like absolutely falling apart and dissolving, and that was what I was doing to myself, because I was pulling away from all the parts of me that were bad or not lovable or making me sick or anything like that. And it was actually pulling away. I was pulling away from myself so much that all this negative energy and all this sickness and all this pain would come in. I actually did another video on this talking about this book and this specific thing, so if you want, go check that one out. But this book was absolutely so amazing, where it's like, whatever you are, whatever is going on right now, it is worthy of love and joy and acceptance. So these were my 5 books that really helped me build resilience during my illness. I highly recommend them for anybody who wants to go read them. I wrote them down in the description, so go check them out if you want to look at them. Also, please leave me a comment and tell me what books you have read that have really changed your life and changed your perspective. I'm always looking for more reads, and that way other people watching this can actually look down and just see a lot of really great books that they can all read and learn from. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.